Joining us now, Bess Freedman, CEO of luxury real estate brokerage Brown Harris Stevens, and how frustrating this housing market has been, both when it comes to buying and when it comes to rentals. The reality of it is mortgage rates are perhaps a lot more anchored to both spreads and those longer-term interest rates, which you have not seen budge enough lower. So how do you think this is going to play out at the end of the day in terms of the reopening of this housing market?
Look, we know that 2024 was no bueno, right? It was a really bad market, slow. I think it was the worst since, they said 1996, we hadn't seen a market that slow. And so what I'm hoping for as we enter 2025 is that rates start to come down a little bit, people start to get more into the market, inflation, the economy remains steady, and we get more supply, because the real issue here is one of supply. There was an article in the Journal today about this global housing crisis that people, adults, the ages of 20 to 34, almost 60% of them in Ireland are living with their parents. And, you know, home buying, home renting has become unaffordable in the U.S. as well. So this means we need more supply. We need to get young people into the market. And so we need to get local and state working with us so that we can have reasonable laws so that we can build. We're desperate for that.
Yeah, well, there's a lot to dig into there, especially on the rental side of things, I find fascinating. But the question we've been asking when it comes to real estate is, how much do you need to see from the Fed? Do you need to see rates come lower to really start to unlock things? We'll have 100 basis points of easing as of 2 p.m. this afternoon. What sort of threshold, though, are you thinking about?
I mean, it's hard. So I read something where it said if people see the 30-year go into the zone of in the fives, then that would inspire sellers to put their homes on the market because they've been waiting because they have a 2 or 3%, and that would get buyers more into the market. So that's what I'm hearing or read in studies, but you don't know. I think people have felt like they want to wait. There's been these golden handcuffs. They have lower rates. Buyers don't know if they can afford it. It's not just the rates, even though that's really important. It's also that it's become unaffordable. Young people, like we just talked about, can't buy a home. They just are completely priced out.
I think also, and I'm going to ask you a bit of an unfair question because it'll be asking you to pull out your crystal ball.
Yes.
A lot of people are afraid now because if they sell their home, are they going to get a much higher price for it, or is it going to reset the market lower? That's the question still.
Listen,
are housing prices going that much higher?
It depends. First of all, as we know, all real estate is local. So it depends on where you are and what the demand is. I'll give you an example. A place like Palm Beach, you put something on the market, there is a swarm of people who want to buy it, but that's obviously typically more high-end, more expensive. Connecticut, there's no supply. So when people put their homes on the market, there's a rush of people to line up to bid on the homes. So I think once we have more supply, then we're going to get prices to come down. And if sellers start to put their homes on the market and buyers get into the market, we start to see fluidness and supply and demand intersect, which is a healthy housing market, which we didn't have in 2024.
Well, you talk about Palm Beach, you talk about Connecticut. I'm going to be selfish and ask about Manhattan. What does the supply picture look like there, and how does that feed into the pricing dynamic?
We have a decent supply. You know, the market in the city has been pretty flat. High-end has done well, which it usually does because it's discretionary. I mean, look at Wall Street. The bonuses are going to be incredible. You know, a lot of people are saying the stock market is obviously pushes or drives the real estate market here, and it's been very frothy, and people are saying, is there a bubble coming? Do we know? I don't. It's unclear to us, but I do think that, you know, people are, it's been moderate, it's been decent. I would like to see a pickup in that market. There's been a big portion of this market that's been cash. So remember, the mortgage rates don't necessarily impact our buyers and sellers as much, although it does play into it.
When you think about that tension, that push-pull between renting and buying, I feel like you're so close to the ground where you see people making that decision in real time. What are they choosing at this point in time? Is there a reason to wait to buy and rent for now instead?
I think, you know, it's like they say renting is more like dating. It's temporary, and so if you don't like it, I have a friend who's renting right now on the Upper East Side, a one-bedroom. She doesn't like the neighborhood. She's like, I'm definitely moving out. It's sort of like you're dating before you get married, right? And so I think if you want to commit to economic security and building intergenerational wealth, you buy a home. Because if the stock market plummets and your coinage goes way down, you know that you just you're looking at your portfolio and go, damn, I have less money. This stinks. Versus if you bought a home and that value goes down, you have a roof over your head, you have a place where you can eat, sleep, have dinner, have fun, and it goes up in value. So I think that we have to think about the housing market as a long-term investment, and it is still the American dream. It's a commitment to your future. And so I'd like to get young people in the mindset of buying a home because it's an investment for your long term.
Well, I must have commitment issues because my husband and I have been in our rental building for 8 years, which is pretty amazing. But we're doing what I think you're not supposed to do, which is time the market, basically wait for mortgage rates to come down and then maybe look. Is that bad? Can you give me some advice?
Yes.
Should we just make the jump? How terrible is it to time the market?
I think the smartest person in the world cannot time the market. There's no such thing because when it's bottom, you don't know it's bottom till it's past that. So I would just say, look for something that makes sense to you, that you like. You know, I think it was Munger who said you have to fish where the fish are. And then he said a great investor fishes where there's no fishing boats.
It's hilarious. I must be like starving for commitment because I keep on looking at houses in the Hudson Valley and seeing that 300,000 price drop.
Their prices are crazy there because there's no inventory. But New York City, you can actually negotiate and find something. So I would encourage you, just going back to you because you've been renting, which is fine. You know, New York is really a city of renters, is to start to look for something because you can negotiate and you can find something great and then you can make it your own and renovate it. And it's, you know, where you live. It's where you have everything. It's sacred space.
That's where I raised my cat.
That's what I'm saying. You raise your cat, your animals, and you have your friends over.
We have less than a minute left here, though, but with prices this high, I mean, I guess I still have to ask why buy? Because if you are worried about that price declining, then why not wait?
Because the market is cyclical. And like I just said, so if you put your money, if you have a little bit of money, you put it in the stock market and it goes down, you just have less money realized, right? But if you buy a home and it goes down, you know, the market's going to pick back up again and at least you have shelter. So I think buying a home makes sense for the long term if you can do it. Not everybody can.
All right, Bess, keep in touch. Happy holidays. Hope to see you in 2025.
Great to see you.
That, of course, is Brown Harris Stevens, CEO, Bess Freedman.